All the way from Malaysia, we have a great opportunity. We are going to speak to Caydee about her experience with business, applying for jobs, and how to land a good job. Caydee, could you please introduce yourself on what you do for business?
Yes. Hello, my name is Caydee Schwartz, and for the past 12 years, I'm educating and guiding people to live a life of purpose, passion, prosperity, and freedom. And originally, I studied business administration, and I worked in a sales department and a marketing department. So quite a different angle than what I'm doing right now.
So my first question is, why did you choose this line of business? Was it your passion? Was it something you wanted to do? Sorry.
Being a trainer, you mean?
Yeah.
Completely by accident. Basically, my passion found me because what happened was that in my last marketing job, I was working for an IT company. I got a termination letter, and I held a termination letter in my hand. And I had to decide, what am I going to do now? And what we have in Germany is we have something called the Agency for Work. And they help you to get a new job. And in my case, they put me into a seminar on how to write applications. And that was quite funny because I had a little bit more knowledge than my other classmates, let's say it that way. So I coached them instead of the trainer coaching them. And everybody I coached had a job in 3 weeks. And the training company has heard of it. And they hired me as an application trainer. And that was my start into the training business. But what I found was that was definitely what I was meant for doing and what sparks my interest. And that is my passion and I'm following since. So
that is awesome. So what are the main benefits that you have taken out of this post? Like what did you learn during doing this job?
Tons. You cannot even put everything, I think, into like a small interview because what I definitely learned on the journey is personal development is so important, but most of the people don't really try to go for personal development. They try to make more money. But the thing is, the more you're investing in your personal development, the more money you will have. And this is something that we saw too. Don't underestimate personal development because that makes such a huge difference. You can learn anything and everything. And I'm brightly looking at different angles all the time too. So from how to speak better, how to improve your relationship. Personal development is such a huge field. And if you're interested in that one, you will never close the door to it anymore. That is the negative side of personal development. Open it, that's okay. You can't close it, sorry.
Let's go for applying for a job. What do you see the main weaknesses, the main mistakes that people do?
That is a really, really good question. So basically, the main mistakes that I saw by educating and guiding all those people that I had in my seminar room was that most of them had absolutely no clue what strengths they had. They had no clue what values they had and what weaknesses they had. A lot of times you have a job post and you try to apply for it and you try to match it somehow so that your stuff matches what the company searches. What happened with me too, as I started to apply for my first marketing jobs, I just wanted to have a job. So I was just putting everything in there. I had not the slightest idea if I can match that one or not. It's like, oh yeah, maybe that I can learn on the side and this like that, but there is a reason why this company is searching for someone. They need someone who is doing the tasks. So are you able to know what tasks they are? If yes, then you might be a good match. If you can figure out that your talents and your strengths are fitting there. But on the other hand, you should do research too. Whenever you're applying for a job, do a research. What is this job? How does it look like? I held a lot of interviews with participants, for example, and no one asked me, what's the job about? How does a normal, typical work week look like? And then at the end, they landed in a job. They were doing it for 3, 4, 5 weeks. And then they decided that job is completely crappy. Why did I went here in the first place? yes, you can prevent that one if you ask questions during an interview, because an interview is not the company is speaking and you have to answer. No, it should be an interview on both sides. So that is a really, really huge mistake that I see a lot of applicants doing, instead of just sitting there and like, okay, please, I want to have this job. Speak to that company, be your own person, know your strengths, go there. It's like, okay, this is what I can provide. This is what you need. It seems to match, but how does it look like in your company? How does a normal work week look like? How are the colleagues? How is whatever? How do you treat your employees? How much? I would not go for payment in a first interview. I would not go for vacation in a first interview, but figure out what is expected of you in your future job. And just to give you an example from my own life, if I may.
Sure.
I applied for a job after I finished university and I couldn't find anyone. So almost a year later, I was still unemployed. And we had, at that time, we had a pretty big unemployment rate overall. So I was not alone. Most of my fellow students were with me in the same boat. But after the 150th application, I stopped counting and I was just writing them out. It's like, okay, whatever. So at least maybe someone gives me a chance. So I got invited to a couple of interviews and I landed a job in a sales department. And until my first day, I had not the slightest idea how the company looks like from the inside. If they would have opened the door in an interview and showed me the vicinity, I only saw the meeting room, I would have never worked in that company. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because just coming in there, sometimes you can feel energy, right? So the whole energy inside this room was like, where am I here? I managed to keep with them for like 9 months or something. In the meantime, I tried to apply for different jobs, but do me a favor, do your research, please, 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 please.
Let me ask you a difficult question here. Like you said, applicants do not know well about their own strengths. Like, how can a person decide on their own strengths?
That is a good question. There is one really, really easy answer. Ask your family members and friends what you're good at. We tend not, because there is one thing, a lot of times we have a so-called blind spot. So although we have a slight idea where we could be good at, your family members, your friends, your close friends definitely know what you're really good at. But for task-based stuff, I mean, if you're, for example, working in IT and you know that you can code, then you know that you can code, right? You have proof of that. But the proof should not be just a number on a certificate. It should be physical proof somehow. Have you done a website? Or a small program that you can send to someone, hey, this is my project. Even if you have just done it for an application and for nothing else, give another person a little bit proof of what you can do. But the interesting thing is really go out there and ask, like, okay, guys, I'm doing a research right now. Can you tell me what I'm really good at? And you will find some strengths that you have never, ever thought about, because they are so innate to you. They are so natural to you. No one else has them. You have them, and you bring them on the table, to the table. And basically, this is what makes you, and this is what is the drive. But you will never find them if you don't ask other people.
What happens if you choose the wrong job?
Keep with it. No. Two different things. So first of all, when is a job the wrong one? That can be that it feels that you are either overpowered or underpowered inside the job, that you're completely stressed out, and at the end of the day, there is no energy left in you because you're just soaked up by work. But there can also be the other thing where you have problems with your employee, with your colleagues, for example, or with your bosses, that your boss doesn't get along with you, that your colleagues don't get along with you. So you're basically stuck in like a toxic work environment, with mobbing, or with all those kind of things. My personal opinion is, if you can handle it, stick to that job, but apply somewhere else. But know your values and know your strengths. And if you say, I really want to work together in a team, but right now I'm completely left alone, and I have to do everything by myself, and it feels like I need to be like the Superwoman or Superman, and I have to do everything by myself. No one is checking in, and it's so much burden, I can't handle it. Then either talk to your superior and says like, you know what, I'm more of a team person. I need some encouragement here from some side that makes me work better. That is one way to handle it. Or find that team somewhere in a different company, because there are still companies out there which value that one. The other way around, the same. If you like to work completely by yourself, but your boss checks in every 5 minutes, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Do you need any help? Do you whatever? And checking, but you're an independent person. It's like, why are you checking in on me all the time? Then basically, that doesn't feel good either. So you have to find out what can you tolerate or not. And with that one, I stuck with my job for 9 months, but I also had internships, which I terminated because I've been mobbed. I said like, this is it, no more. I'm not going a day further. I just quit my internship right here, right now, because sorry, I'm not your person there, which does copies all day long and then gets someone is talking bad about me all day long. I'm not taking that kind of behavior. So for me, that value was the one which made me quit. Does that make sense?
Let's go to the other important question here, like how to choose the right job.
Same. How to choose the right job, or even the right field of study. What are you interested in? What are your talents? What are you good at? The right job, I mean, there are thousands out there. What company would you like to work for? Is there somewhere, a company which you think that is a really good one? Figure out what do they need. Do they need your skills or not? So figuring out what is the right job is basically a little bit of going deep inside of you and try to match what you're good at, what your strengths, what's out there, and try to put everything together and make like one big mixture out of it. And then you will find the job which really fits.
My other question here, like, of course, most people dream about working in a very good or a very reputable organization. But sometimes their qualifications are not suitable enough. What do you advise?
Sometimes you can do things like, okay, I know that just bring it to the table. I know that my qualifications in that area are not good, but I promise you, in the next half a year, you have someone who has invested so much time into learning those special skills that you will have the right person here. I'm willing to learn. That is one way to do, or the other one is try to get it in the backside and try to learn as much as you can in the meantime, because by now you can find everything on the internet. So theoretically, you can use that time and you can just learn it on the go. So what you have to see too is that most of the time, the HR people, even if I'm not getting a good feedback from them right now, if I tell that, they don't have the slightest clue what exactly in the slightest detail you have to do, or in the minuscule detail you have to do at your workplace. So theoretically, you can fool them with just being as confident as possible with your skills. But if you need them on a daily basis, you will find out you cannot go far. So you have to be willing to learn as much as possible in the next 4 weeks, and see that basically you can put into your head like half a year of university or whatever in just 4 weeks, which is possible. But this is dedication at the end of the day. So yeah.
It has been more than amazing talking to you, Caydee, today. Thank you so much for your great input and great, let's say, advice for applicants and people looking for jobs.